This is Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review, and we're taking a look at MLB early lines for the games on Saturday, August the 13th. We're going to focus in on one game in particular, and I'll also include a couple of leans on some other games following that. But the game I'm going to focus on, our featured play, I guess you could say, on the Saturday, August 13th baseball card, Kansas City taking on Minnesota. And if you'll remember earlier this season on our MLB early lines videos, we talked about just a remarkable over-the-total streak that the Minnesota Twins were going on earlier in this season. I mean, it was something like 17 or 18 games out of 20 going over the total for Minnesota earlier this season. I think it was back in June that streak was going on. Well, they're in the midst of another over streak right now. They've started up another one. They said, hey, one's not enough. We want to go over the total in a big time streak over the total for a second straight time, and they're doing that right now. 9-1 to the over for the Minnesota Twins in their last 10 games. Much of the same things that caused that first overrun for Minnesota are causing this one. Their lineup is on fire. They're hitting the ball extremely well. Everybody. I mean, Joe Mauer, Brian Dozier, Miguel Sano. How about this Max Kepler? How about the way this guy's swinging the bat? He has been terrific at the plate for the Minnesota Twins in recent weeks and months. So they're getting contributions from everywhere in this lineup right now, and their pitching remains mediocre. And Tyler Duffey, who we're going to talk about making the start here for Minnesota, he remains mediocre. 7.42 ERA his last 3 starts. He's not done very well this season here at Target Field. 7.22 ERA for Duffey in 10 home starts. The over 6-2-2 in Duffey's 10 home starts this season here at Target Field. You know, he had a better outing last time against Houston, 1 run on 4 hits in 6 innings, but it's not like Houston's lineup has been producing at the plate lately. So I still have some concerns with Tyler Duffey, as well as the fact that he faced Kansas City back in May. Didn't fare very well. 5 runs on 9 hits, 6.2 innings in that game. Not a great performance from Duffey. Kansas City's lineup, you know, has been a little bit erratic during the recent weeks, but I do think they've got it in them to have success against Duffey and the always suspect Twins bullpen behind him. But on the flip side, we've got Dylan Gee for the Kansas City Royals. He's nothing more than a mediocre fringe arm. I've said that before about Dylan Gee, and the fact remains that he's also been laboring in recent starts. He's allowed 25 runs in his last 29.2 innings of work. That's not exactly recent current form that is going to get the job done. That's a span of 6 starts where he's allowed those 25 runs in 29.2 innings, and the over is 4-2 in those games. Dylan Gee was lit up big time, and I mean big time, by this Minnesota team when he faced them right here at Target Field back in May. Gave up 6 runs on 10 hits, lasted just 4 innings, and if he has trouble pitching deep, and he's had trouble working deep into games all season long, this Kansas City bullpen ain't what it once was. I mean, this was one of the best bullpens in baseball last year. It started out this season fairly strong, but it's not the same bullpen. They've been giving up runs. Even Kelvin Herrera lately has been giving up runs, and they've got a couple of key arms out of that bullpen on the DL. Luke Hochevar, one of them, and of course their closer Wade Davis, who has been on the shelf for quite some time now. So this should be an opportunity for the Minnesota Twins to be able to score some runs, not only against Gee, but against what's a more vulnerable bullpen for Kansas City than they were last year, and probably more vulnerable now than they were earlier this season as well. So we have this total sitting at 9 in this game. Again, Minnesota just on a brilliant over-the-total run, 9-1 in their last 10 games. And it's really, when a team goes on this kind of overrun, it's the same thing that causes the games to go over. Good lineups, mediocre starting pitching that doesn't pitch deep, leading to a bad, overworked bullpen, and a bullpen that stays overworked game after game after game. It's like a domino effect, and that's why you get teams going on these big-time over-the-total streaks like Minnesota is right now, and I think that can continue on Saturday. Let's take a look at Kansas City and Minnesota over the total of 9 for the Saturday, August 13th Major League Baseball card. One other lean that I was interested in, Cincinnati side perspective, slight underdog they are against Milwaukee, plus 105, plus 110 in that range. Cincinnati's been winning with Dan Straley, and let's give this guy credit. He has been pitching very well and very consistently for the Reds. The Reds are 5-0 in Dan Straley's last 5 starts. He's given up 2 runs or less in all 5 of those outings. just been really, really strong for this Cincinnati Reds rotation as of late. I mean, fantastic numbers. The fact that he's given up 7 runs in his last 5 starts combined, that's just terrific. And again, the Reds have been winning with Dan Straley on the mound. And when he faced this Milwaukee lineup last month, July 17th, 3 hits, shutout baseball, 7 innings, and a victory for the Reds over the Brewers. The one issue I have with Cincinnati in this game is they're facing a pretty decent pitcher at the moment in Zach Davies for the Milwaukee Brewers, who's been in pretty good form as well. Milwaukee's won 3 of his last 4 starts. He's allowed 3 runs or less now in 6 straight games now where Zach Davies has allowed 3 runs or less. So I lean to Cincinnati because they're the plus price. And again, Cincinnati's been showing some spunk. They've been showing some, we're not quitting on this season. We suck. We're not good. Our bullpen is pathetic, but we're not going to quit on the season. We're going to keep playing hard. We're going to keep trying to win games. They've at least been giving you that effort. So I lean a bit to the Reds there as an underdog, probably under the total, specifically in the first 5 innings. I mean, the total 8.5. These bullpens for both teams are not trustworthy. I don't know if I could trust a full game under, but more specifically a first 5 innings under with the way Davies and Straley have both been pitching lately might be worth a look. I was also kind of interested in the Arizona-Boston over. I don't trust Bradley to shut down Boston at Fenway, but I don't trust Clay Buchholz further than I can throw him, no pun intended. No further than he can throw his mediocre, lousy slop that he has been throwing now for the last few years. So I lean to the over there. But again, total of 10. Didn't get the number of my liking. So we'll lean to the over, but not sure I'll bet it. All right, that will do it. That's my look at MLB early lines, our early lines report for the games on Saturday, August 13th. I'm sports handicapper Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review. And until next time, enjoy the games and good luck.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SBR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.